Ragnarök, one of, if not the favorite map for players in ARK Survival Evolved. With abundant resources, friendly building terrain, and a large variety of consistently high-level dinos, it's easy to see why it's so appealing. But don't let pretty looks deceive you. When it comes to survival, this map is just as dangerous, if not more so, than every other map. With many more artifacts and caves to explore, mini-bosses, and of course the ever-present dinosaurs that want to turn you into a meal. In this video, I will attempt to survive 100 days on hardcore mode on this map. That means, if I die once, all my levels gained are reset, and everything I own from buildings to dinos will be forfeit. My ultimate goal is to beat the bosses of this map, being the Manticore and the Dragon appearing in the same arena at Gamma, Beta, and Alpha level. Before we begin, I want to thank Sani Zebra for bringing Luke the Notable series to ARK. This video was inspired by him, and you should definitely watch his series. I would also like to thank Simple for creating this wonderful cinematic intro that you're watching. Now, let us begin. For the sake of content and the overall enjoyment of my playthrough, I'm running 3 times taming speeds, 2 times harvesting rates, and 0.8 difficulty on the PlayStation 4 solo survivor settings to better my chances of completing this challenge in 100 days. As you can see, no mods are able to run on the PlayStation, so other than altered rates, this is as close to the original settings as I can get. We start off the same way we always do in ARK, waking up naked on a beach with a strange implant in our arm. Like any sane man, I immediately start punching a tree for thatch to make a simple pick, hatchet, and torch, as well as some clothes to have some common decency, you know. Once I had pants on, I killed a nearby Lystro for its hide and meat, and another one. I then found a nearby level 100 dodo that I just had to have, for reasons. So I knocked it out, using my fists, and fed it some berries so it would start taming up. Once it woke up, I named it Dino Nugget. I saw a Pego nearby, so I knocked it out with a slingshot and hacked it to pieces, because I adamantly hate Pegos, always stealing stuff. I figured it was time I started setting up a temporary base, so I laid down some thatched foundations and 2 storage boxes. After some resource gathering, I added walls to the foundation. More walls. And eventually, ceilings, a doorway, and a door. It wasn't much right now, but it would serve its purpose. I then threw Dino Nugget in a corner and went out to gather more resources and experience. I crafted a campfire and a mortar and pestle, which I placed inside of my new temporary base, as well as a boomerang in case I needed it for later. I used the campfire to start cooking up some steak, because I was hungry. I began mercilessly eliminating the surrounding dodos for meat and hide, as well as experience to level up. That is, until I found a level 130 female dodo I wanted to pair with Dino Nugget, for romance. So I knocked it, fed it, and left it to tame while I explored the beach more. I found this Dilo acting funny, so I followed it to a group of them and decided to test my luck with the boomerang. Let me tell you, boomerangs are amazing for beginner level tames. After a bit and a second boomerang, I knocked out all 3 Dilos and tamed them up. I named them Ricky, Tiki, and Toppy. I know, I'm just amazing at naming things. After a little walking, I found that dodo I knocked out earlier and decided to give it a more fitting name, Meat Shield. After more walking, I got back to base and deposited both dodos in a different corner so they could have some alone time together. I went out to explore a little way from my base at night because I was incredibly bored sitting in the house when I stumbled on something amazing. A level 156 tech parasaur. These guys are great first mounts and barrier gatherers, and this one was such a high level, I knew I had to tame it now before I lost it. So I bulleted it and threw my boomerang at it. It escaped the first bulla, but unfortunately for it, I am an endurance hunter. So I bulleted it again and successfully knocked it the second time. I fed it some berries and left it to tame. You would not believe how excited I was for this high level of Parasaur. This would make the next few days a breeze. While the tech Parasaur was taming, I found a level 130 Parasaur nearby, so I decided I would tame 2 dinos this night, as it's always a good decision to have a backup. After another short chase, I bullied it and knocked it out. After the tech Parasaur tamed, I named it after my Parasaur on the island, Gerald. When the other finally got up, I named it Radar, as that is what its function would be on my base. If you're not familiar with Parasaurs in ARK, they have a special ability that allows them to ping nearby enemy creatures, like a radar. I brought them both back to base and decided it was high time I put up some defenses. I crafted some wooden spike walls and began placing them around the front of my hut to protect the entrance and my most important dinos. That is, until a level 130 Pteranodon landed right in front of me. It was like it was mocking me, so I just had to get it. I bullied the thing and quickly knocked it out with a boomerang and set it to tame. While it was sleeping, I finished the spike wall and began gathering berries with my new Gerald to start creating my first batch of narcotics. When the Pteranodon woke up, I named it Sail. Unfortunately, I haven't reached the level to unlock the saddle for it yet, so I wouldn't be flying for a little bit. I crafted a bow and arrows and killed more dodos. I crafted a large storage box for the resources I was collecting and the parts for dino traps I was crafting. I soon unlocked metal tools and trank arrows, which would help speed up my progress immensely. During the night, I made a small wooden platform which I will put my refineries on, as well as crafting spark powder to power them. I then crafted and placed a smithy, and placed an additional refinery. I apologize, folks. I appear to have lost some footage, but don't worry, you didn't miss much. I placed a gate on my spike wall to complete the circle and started making a trap for the future when I have a flyer that can carry dinos. When I finished the dino trap, I finished crafting and placing my refineries. For the rest of the night, I just collected more resources, so I won't bore you with that. In the morning, I gathered my first node of metal and decided to venture up the mountain near my base in hopes of finding crystal for a spyglass. However, it resulted in disappointment. But it wasn't a complete loss, as I found a level 140 Pteranodon on the way back to base. I quickly knocked it with my new trank arrows and began the taming process. For this important to tame, I made some spike walls and monitored its torpor for the majority of the day until it was tamed. Once it tamed, I named it Triangle Head. I was bringing Triangle Head home when this happened. Anyway, I set my new metal to smelt, gathered more resources, and crafted my first batch of gunpowder, as well as my first long neck and some simple bullets. The next day, I did come across a Carno that I attempted to tame, but it fell in the water and was drowning, so I killed it for hide. I was finally able to craft that Pteranodon saddle and took my first flight. Man, it felt good to be in the air. After flying around on Triangle Head for a bit, I found some weird boxes that apparently give loot when you mine them, even if it is garbage. I did eventually find what I was looking for, crystal for a spyglass. Finding that crystal took literally all day, so when I made it back to base, it was night. For whatever reason, I decided to pick a fight with this Bronto here, which of course, we won, because Triangle Head is an absolute beast. Its death granted us a nice chunk of XP. I also crafted a full set of hide armor, because the cloth just wasn't cutting it at this point. Next day, I got an apprentice hide shirt from a drop and attempted to tame a different Carno. But a Rex aggroed onto him, so we had to kill the Rex and lost the Carno yet again. I started exploring around the beach on Triangle Head and found this cool looking Anki that was under attack and decided I wanted it. So I killed off the attackers and its partner, so I could proceed to knock it out safely with my trank arrows. Enkies are super slow, so it was easy to knock. Once it was out, I knew it would take a while to tame, so I explored a little more and spotted a 135 RG that I wanted to tame. It was mated, so I had to kill its partner. I went back to base and got those trap parts I was crafting to capture the RG for an easy knockout. But after looking for it for a while, I simply couldn't find it. But never fear, for there was something better on the horizon. A level 150 RG. That's a max level wild RG. That was all the motive I needed to kill off the surrounding RGs and prepare to tame it. For whatever reason, I could not get this thing into the trap. But it got stuck attacking the gate, so that works for me. I pumped as many trank arrows into it as I could until it started to fly away, but I wasn't giving up that easily. I followed, and then I absolutely sniped this baby, and it fell. I spent the next couple hours in game, protecting it and monitoring the tame, as this was my most important tame yet. RGs are the best flyers in the game for transporting important resources like metal, obsidian, and crystal, as well as being able to pick up medium and small dinos. When the RG finally woke up, I named it Vicarian, after a dear friend, and he was beautiful. I had him follow me back to base, where I set him next to my new Enki, which I had named Tanky. At this point, it was going to be a resource and XP grind to get to level 62, so I could craft the RG saddle. Once I get there, I will be able to tame and build at a much larger level. I brought Vicarian with me to that spot I found crystal in earlier because I needed it to craft a fabricator. After taking forever to land, I put the crystal in the smithy, but there was one more resource I needed to craft it: cementing paste. I searched for a bit and eventually found a beaver dam that I had a very close call at. Those beavers do not like people raiding their dams. After loading in all the materials, I finally crafted the fabricator, although I won't be placing it until the creation of my official base. I continued to gather resources and craft narcotics, spark powder, and gunpowder into the next morning. The next day, I searched a large portion of the upper section of the map to find a Doedicurus for stone collection, but was met with disappointment. I did find a level 145 Griffin though. We're gonna have to come back for that later. I also found this 140 Spino when I landed for stamina. Thankfully, it was stuck on a ledge. I was fast approaching the Trank Dart's engram, so I knew I would have to increase my gunpowder production quickly. So I crafted 30 campfires and filled them with wood to burn and make charcoal while I was working on other projects. I took a break in the middle of collecting to get a gold drop, which gave me a metal billboard. What RNG is this, ARK? By the time I filled all the campfires, it was night, which is okay, because this next part looked awesome. I crafted more mortar and pestles because I wanted to organize my compounds a bit more, and spent the rest of the night crafting narcotics and spark powder. In the wee hours of the morning, I started crafting my first set of flak armor. By now, I was really close to that RG saddle, so I was doing anything I could to level up, starting with this unfortunate Bronto, which died in a really weird way. This Parasaur started stepping on my fires for some reason. And guess what? More narcotics. I thought I might check the ocean for a potential water tame, but there was only low-level sharks and dolphins. I finished crafting my flak armor and added a metal shield for extra protection. I saw another gold drop and thought my chances might improve, but it was, again, garbage. When crafting stopped giving me significant XP, I once again turned to Brontos, and that helped a lot. But the series almost ended when this happened. I hate microraptors. Thank God I didn't fall further down that cliff or I would have perished. Anyway, after that heart attack, I got enough XP to finally craft the RG saddle and trank darts, which opens up a huge range of options for me in what to do next. I crafted it and put it on Vicarian. In the morning, I flew him for the first time and it was liberating. There were going to be very few threats while I have my friend with me. I decided to take the Anki out as well for the first time for its intended purpose, metal collection. And boy did he collect a lot! I brought him back up the mountain for another run and set my new metal to smelt. I started crafting gunpowder in bulk as well as trank darts. To end the day, I saw something really weird. That is called a Euryptid, and it's supposed to be at the bottom of the ocean. Yet somehow, here it is swimming on the beach trying to ruin my day. They're very dangerous because they can knock you unconscious in a few hits if you aren't careful, and they'll kill you very slowly. It followed me for a while, so I decided to kill it on Triangle Head and harvest it. Well guys, I've survived 10 days so far on Hardcore Ragnarok. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe as it really helps me out and it takes a lot of effort and time to edit these kinds of videos. Comment below if you want to see more videos like this one. I will finish the Ragnarok series regardless, but I like getting feedback. That's it for now, and have a great day!